All right, let's dive right into your exam prep. If you're going for a Google Cloud certification, you know that data processing is a huge topic. Today, we're zeroing in on two of the biggest services out there, Dataflow and Dataprooc. This is a comparison that trips up pretty much everyone, so let's make sure you're ready for exam day.
Listen, if you're finding this confusing, you are definitely not alone. It's one of the most common spots where students and even experienced pros get a little bit tangled up. I promise you, by the time we're done here, you are going to have this concept locked down cold. So here's our game plan for this study session. We're going to break down what each service is, what it's really good for, and most importantly, how to pick the right one. And then we'll wrap it all up with a cheat sheet designed to help you nail this on the exam.
Okay, first up we have Dataflow. The best way to think about this one is as Google's modern, totally automated kind of autopilot way of processing just massive amounts of data. It's built to be hands-off, which is exactly why we call it serverless.
To really get this, let's use an analogy. Picture yourself managing a huge highway toll plaza. You've got cars just streaming through 24/7. That endless flow of cars, that's your streaming data. You can't just count all the cars forever, right? You need a system to make sense of it all.
Well, Dataflow's system has three main parts. First, there's windowing. This is where you group the cars into manageable chunks. Let's say you count them up every 10 minutes. Next up, watermarks. You got to set a deadline, right? So you tell the system, hey, at 10:10, we're done counting the 10 a.m. to 10:10 batch. This is what keeps everything moving. And finally, you've got triggers. These are just the rules for what to do when a car shows up late. Do we count it? Do we put it in the next batch? Triggers decide.
Now, under the hood, Dataflow is actually powered by something called the Apache Beam model. Think of Beam as this universal programming language for your data jobs. The real magic here is the whole write once, run anywhere idea. You write your code using Beam, and then a service like Google's Dataflow acts as the powerful serverless engine that just runs it for you.
So let's dig just a little deeper into that first idea, windowing. I mean, how do you process something that never, ever ends, right? Well, you can't. So we use windowing to slice that infinite stream into little finite pieces that we can actually work with, like calculating a sum or an average, and you can do fixed windows, like every 10 minutes, or even dynamic ones based on user activity.
And watermarks, they're basically the system's best guess about how time is moving along. Because let's be real, in the real world, data is messy. It shows up late, it comes out of order. A watermark just draws a line in the sand and says, okay, I'm pretty sure all the data that happened before this moment has arrived, which lets the whole system move forward without waiting around forever.
And finally, triggers. They answer the really important question, so when do we actually show the results? Triggers define the exact conditions for when the data from a window gets sent out. And, more importantly, they give you the control to decide how to handle results if some data shows up after that watermark deadline has already passed.
Okay, for the exam, you're going to want this. Here's your first key mnemonic to remember these core data flow concepts, WWT. For windows, watermarks, and triggers. Just think to yourself, what the watermark, and you'll remember the three pillars of how Dataflow manages streaming data.
All right, let's switch gears completely. If Dataflow is that shiny, new, automated car, then Dataprooc is all about moving your old, super reliable, and powerful factory equipment into a new, state-of-the-art building. This is for all those organizations that are not starting from a blank slate.
The phrase you're going to hear over and over again here is lift and shift. Think about it. A lot of companies have spent years, maybe even decades, building and perfecting their data processing jobs with open-source tools like Hadoop and Spark. Dataprooc's whole message is, hey, don't rewrite a thing. Just bring that code you already have and run it on our managed cloud infrastructure. So Dataprooc is basically a managed service for what I like to call the open-source gang. This includes Apache Spark. That's the speed demon for complex data transformations and machine learning. You've got Apache Hive, which lets your team use familiar SQL to query all your data. And then there's Apache HBase, a super powerful NoSQL database for gigantic datasets. Dataprooc just handles all of them for you.
Now, one of Dataprooc's absolute killer features is something called ephemeral clusters. See, unlike your on-premise hardware that's probably running 24/7, with Dataprooc you can spin up a massive cluster in about 90 seconds, run your job, and then, poof, have it shut down automatically. This pay-only-for-what-you-use model is a huge, huge cost saver.
So for Dataprooc, your exam mnemonic is SHH. That's for Spark, Hive, and HBase. Just picture them as these quiet, old-school pros who are just getting the job done.
You can remember it as, shh, the old pros are working. Okay, so we've met both of our contenders. Now it's time for the main event. The question that you are, I guarantee it, going to see on your exam in one way or another. How do you choose? And really, it all boils down to one thing: serverless convenience versus cluster-based control.
This table breaks it all down for you. Dataflow is like ordering an Uber, right? It's serverless. You just tell it where to go, and it handles everything else. It's absolutely perfect for new projects, but you have to write your code in Apache Beam. Now, Dataprooc, that's like owning your own car. You're in control. You have to manage the cluster size and tweak the settings, but you get to use your existing familiar Hadoop and Spark code. And the pricing reflects this too. Dataflow charges you per second for what you use, while Dataprooc charges per hour for the whole cluster, whether it's busy or just sitting there.
We have covered a ton of ground. So now, let's boil all of this down into the final, high-impact points that you need for instant recall when you're sitting in that exam.
If you walk away remembering nothing else, I want you to remember these two letters, N-O. This is your ultimate decision-making tool, your silver bullet.
It is seriously this simple. Is the exam question asking about a new cloud-native streaming pipeline? Your answer is Dataflow. Is it asking about migrating your old existing Hadoop or Spark code to the cloud? The answer is Dataprooc. N-O. New is Dataflow, old is Dataprooc. So let's just call this the golden rule for the exam. I want you to burn this into your brain. If a question ever says migrating Hadoop/Spark code, your fingers should immediately go to the Dataprooc button. If it says new, serverless real-time pipeline, it's Dataflow. That single distinction is going to get you the right answer almost every single time.
And that's it. Seriously, you've got this. You've mastered the difference between Dataflow and Dataprooc. So the theory's done, the exam is passed. The real question is, what amazing things are you ready to go and build with this knowledge? Thanks for joining me.